Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time.
When you add a shake of Frank's Red Hot, you open a world of better. A world where wings bring out the flavor of game day any day. Where buffalo chicken dip takes any party up a notch. And where any slice of pizza instantly becomes the world's best slice of pizza. At least until the next slice. Bring every bite to life with the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything.
Guys, what's good? Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity up your you. I'm your host, Isaiah, and today we're going to take some things personal. We're going to take a lot of things personal. Okay? And what I mean by that is we are going to double down on what it is that matters, why it matters, and how we can objectify our interactions and connections and personalize our relationships a little bit more. So it's a tricky dance, but it's doable. And I think once you kind of learn the steps, it's a lot easier to navigate who's who, what's what, and how it all works for you. Okay, because we take things personal. We're human. Okay, so if you are driving, seatbelt. If you are at home, seatbelt. Get some water and just tune into this one. All right, stay tuned. Guys, what's good? How are you? What's the tea? Yeah, it's the end of September. September was like, hey, I was just here for an hour. I'm gonna dip out. You know, September never seems to overstay its welcome. You know, shows up to the party and it's like, I'm out. All right, I'm gonna give you a little retrograde. I'm gonna give you a little this. But I'm out, right? I'm not staying too long. I can't. I got things to do. And I've always loved September because for me in my life personally, it always encompasses some of the biggest transitions for me in life. It never fails. The summer up until September and through September. That's why I say I love fall. And the fall has always been my favorite season. Because things change, right? Things change. And I notice that changes happen for me. And sometimes I don't notice them in the moment, but I do notice them in hindsight. Like I'm able to kind of, clock certain milestones, whatever the case may be. And I also notice my relationships start changing. Why? Because I am taking the opportunity to kind of process my responsibility in my relationships, what I want my relationships to look like, so on and so forth. And as people, we take things personal. The 4 Agreement says don't take things personal. And people say to you, don't take things personal. Oh, yeah, I know I did that. Don't take it personal, though. Yeah, I know I'm despondent with you and dismissive with you. Don't take it personal. And it kind of disrupts your process. And maybe I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again because I think it's so necessary and important to unpack and process what this is, okay? When somebody tells you to not take something personal, and it seems like it's a personal occurrence in your relationship with them. That's information, right? Somebody is constantly telling you that how they treated you was not intentional. That indicates that they lack intention when it comes to you. They're careless, right? And not taking things personal means that another person is not held accountable for how they move as an individual in life and how they handle their relationships, whatever the case may be. And when we experience that, sometimes there's this moment of confusion, right? There's a moment of confusion and kind of disruption of our feelings and our emotional process and our mental process, because it's like, oh, you start to feel guilty about having feelings about how you were treated, right? The world makes you feel guilty for accountability. You know, oh, don't be so sensitive. I didn't mean it like that. Well, how did you mean it? Because certain things can only be meant one way, right? Somebody being dismissive with you, somebody kind of being, again, careless and negligent with you, regardless of whether or not they're doing it on purpose, it is information. Okay? One time, yes, can be an oversight. But if it's the crux of your relationship, it does start to feel personal. There's this quote: stop having relationship problems with people you're not in a relationship with. And since friendships are relationships, still applies, but stop having friendship problems with people you're not friends with. First of all, if ever there comes a time where we are kind of at an impasse with people in our lives, it's a beautiful opportunity to take a good step back and do some reevaluation. Like, go back to the drawing board, and I want you to decide, what does a relationship, how do I define relationships in my life? Are there people that are just taking up space? Or are there people that are occupying this space and taking care of it? There's a big difference. Okay. And I was also thinking about something too. And sorry if it feels like I'm jumping, but like I had so many thoughts as September's wrapping up, because there's a lot of amazing things happening. I'll share with you guys eventually. But I forget who I was talking to, and I was like, you know what? My goal in life is not to be liked by everybody. It is not that I'm going to go out here and do some things like to make people dislike me. I'm not going to do that. But my goal in life is not to be liked by everybody. The reason why is because the people that I value and the people that value me should never feel like, depending on who I'm with and who I'm around, they're going to get a backseat or they're going to come second. Okay? And again, this goes back to stop having relationship problems with people you're not in a relationship with. Stop having friendship problems with people you're not friends with. Someone who's eager to be liked by everybody has a very high potential to do you dirty. And I've experienced it in different ways. Certain people come around and they want to be liked by those people. So what are they going to do? They're likely going to compromise their relationship with you until they recognize that those relationships weren't that dope, and they come back to the source. They come back to the people that were there, right? So for me, the reason why I don't desire to be liked by everybody is because it lets people know I don't rock with everybody, and I'm not going to change who I am for somebody else. Okay. And I say this in the space of like, I already make it a point to be very intentional with my relationships, because I take my relationships very personal. I take my business personal. I take my relationships personal. So therefore, the process of how I navigate them are very personal because it's a reflection of me. Meanwhile, there are other people who desire to be liked by everybody so much that they're willing to do some very questionable things to be validated by someone else, or they find a new relationship. So now their other relationships are kind of neglected for the sake of keeping this other person happy, whatever the case may be. That's always information. And as much as people say, oh, when somebody gets in a relationship, yeah, their time is going to change because they're in this relationship. Yeah, understandable, because like you only have one life and your capacity for certain things, it changes. And the more people come into your life, the more you kind of have to delegate. But there's a difference between somebody, dividing their time versus somebody who completely neglects their relationships for someone else. It's different, right? And I've experienced that kind of feeling where it's like, oh, somebody else comes along, so now our relationship doesn't exist until they burn you or it doesn't work out with them, right? And you were willing to allow them to delegate your relationships with other people, especially people that were good to you. It's a difference if like somebody comes into your life and they're like, yo, your friends kind of violate. They don't respect you. They don't treat you well. And it can be factual versus you having good people in your life. And because this other person comes into your life that you want to be good with, now the dynamic changes. That lets me know that your loyalty is not really in your relationships, is more in what your needs are, right? Or what you're willing to do to be liked. So that's why I never care about being liked by everybody. Valued, yeah. If you value me, sometimes the best way you can value somebody is by keeping your distance, right? And I don't desire to cultivate deep relationships, and I've talked about this a million times because this is real. I don't desire to cultivate deep relationships with everyone because you can't. You don't have to. Okay? So when certain things transpire, it's important for you to go back to the drawing board and say, why is this person my friend? Or why is this person my significant other? Or what is it that I see in this person? Because your relationships are very personal. They are a reflection of you. Okay? And once you understand that, they're on brand for you. And once you get that, you kind of start paying attention, and you do take things a little bit more personal. The reason why is because this is my relationship with you, right? Taking things personally. Person, ally. Is this person an ally? Or is this just a person that I keep trying to align with? Okay? Think about your core values. Think about how you move through life. Think about what you seek. Think about who you are. Because again, a lot of people want a good friend. Everybody wants a good person in their life. People have a laundry list of what they desire, what they demand, what they expect from other people. But they don't have half those things, and they don't show up that way either. And it's, well, that's just how I am. Like, nah. Too often, and I think that's the disconnect in society and just kind of in life, is that we want people to take care of us before we're willing to take care of us. We expect people to validate us before we validate us. It's like you have this whole laundry list of what somebody should be. They should be consistent. Okay, well, how consistent are you with you? Right? They should be honest, open, transparent, healthy communicator. Okay, how healthy of a communicator are you? How transparent are you? Right? They should be diligent, hardworking. All right, dope. What's hard work to you? Okay? Because sometimes somebody who's willing to work hard at their job is not going to be willing to work hard at their relationship or even put that much effort into their relationship. A job is kind of tangible and it's practical, right? The reason why sometimes people are very hard workers is because the emotional aspect is not involved in the job. It's a task. Okay? And a relationship is more than a task. And then sometimes the disconnect comes because people may expect their relationships to be a task, right? Or they treat it like a task, which is where the hangups come through. You always have permission to take your relationships personal because they're yours. They are yours. These are people that are occupying space in your life. Why would you not take that personal? For what reason? Okay. And a lot of times people say don't take things personal because they don't want to be held accountable. Right? So we have to pay attention to that. If you were careless with me, I'm going to take that personal. I'm not going to take you as a person personal. I'm going to take how I'm treating this relationship personal. And there's a big difference, right? I can separate you as a person from my experience. Okay. I can recognize that this experience affects me, and I can recognize moving forward that I don't want to continue this experience. Okay. Acceptance of who somebody is versus demanding that they be different. First of all, accept who someone is. I didn't say tolerate. I said accept. Okay. There's a difference between understanding and enduring. I can understand why somebody may move the way that they do, and I can also understand I don't want to experience any more challenges that I'm already working through or that I've already healed from. So I'm not going to, right? Two things could be true at once. Take your relationships personal, but don't take people personal, which means that any given point in time, I have full permission to step away from a relationship that's inconducive to my growth. Why? Because I don't take that person personal, but I take my relationships personal, which means that whoever I interact with consistently, I'm pouring into energy, whatever the case may be. That is personal time, energy, and effort. That's mine. I don't get that back. That's currency. I don't necessarily get that back unless it's reciprocal, right? But it's my time, is my energy, is my trust, is my love, is my care. I don't get that back. So I take that very personal. Okay. And if somebody is clearly a little careless with you, reckless with you, negligent, dismissive, right? Flaky, take it personal. But don't take them personal. And that's what we got to understand. And once you start doing that, that's detachment, right? I think that's kind of like, I don't know where that will fall, but that's an element of detachment. I get to see how you love and decide if I want to participate. And Yala said that best. And I love that quote because sometimes we get caught up in the fact that somebody says that they love us, but you don't feel loved by them. You don't feel like you're cared for. You don't feel like you're valued. You don't feel like you're appreciated, but you're hanging on to this thing that, oh yeah, that they love me. They just have a hard time showing it. Okay, well, you should have a hard time showing up because at this point, you're having a hard time seeing yourself as somebody that's worthy of love. Why? Because you've been in this exchange that is personally affecting you. You get me? Personally affecting you. In the 4 agreements, it says don't take things personal. And if you read it for face value, it would sound like, oh, I'm supposed to just allow certain things to happen because people have their own shit going on. No. See things for what they are as they happen and understand that, yes, how a person moves has absolutely nothing to do with you because people, who they are in this present moment, is a full compilation of their history that you don't have access to. Just like you, who you are in this present moment is a compilation of your history that a lot of people don't have access to. And even when we tell people what we've been through, it doesn't mean that they're going to treat us better, right? Some people don't have the capacity to understand. Some people have never been through certain things, so it just doesn't register. And also other people just don't give a shit. But you do. You know what your experiences are. So why neglect that for the sake of somebody who says that they love you and is showing you otherwise? Give yourself permission to take your relationships very personal. The reason why is because that's personal time, energy, and effort. Somebody cuts you off on the road. Yeah, don't take that personal. Because if it wasn't you, it would have been somebody else. But you could take personal how, jarring that was for you. Yeah, that's dangerous. I could have been in an accident. Absolutely. That's your body. Understanding that concept, right? We're kind of turning the idea of not taking things personal on our head, because if we never take things personal, we won't know what's okay for us and what's not okay. We won't know what we've been tolerating and actually what we deserve. Take your relationships very personal. Don't take people personal, but take your relationships, the concept of relationship for you, the standards, the qualities that are there that define relationships for you. Take that very personal, because those are your relationships. And if somebody is not aligning with what you determine to be a relationship, stop having relationships problems with people you're not in relationships with. Stop having friendship problems with people you're not friends with. Because if somebody is not showing up as your friend, they're not your friend. You want them to be your friend, but they're showing that they're not. Perfect. Okay? Claiming someone as your person before they show you they're willing to be an ally might leave you hung up. Claiming someone as your person before they show you they're willing to be an ally might leave you hung up. Why? Because you're granted admission before they've even paid. Okay? Everybody has a lane. Okay? Everybody has a way of doing things. And if you observe people enough, sometimes it is personal. Very personal. How they move with you is different than how they move with everybody else. You don't need to accept that. But don't take them personal, because that's their character. You have nothing to do with their character. Okay? So don't take a person personal. Okay? And taking things personally will allow you to figure out if this person is an ally. It's in the word, personal ally. That's something to consider moving forward. Take things personal. But take the work that you do very personal. Take the growth that you are seeking very personal. Hold yourself very accountable. Okay? Because I can't demand anything from anybody else that I'm not willing to do myself. And stop trying to be liked by everybody. Because truth be told, some people aren't going to like you in general, right? Pay attention to who values you. And be mindful of the people who desire to be liked by everybody, because that means they'll likely compromise your relationship for somebody else's approval. All right. So that's all I got for you guys, I think. Wrapping up September. Let's go, y'all. October's right around the corner, which means that more horror stories are coming for the Night Owl. So get ready for that. And share some news with you guys. And yeah, we'll figure that all out. But in the meantime, just take care of yourself. Figure out what relationships mean to you and what they look like, and go from there. And yeah, I think that's about it, y'all. Coaching is available still. Got a couple slots. We're getting busy towards the end of the year, which is great, because the holiday season gets weird for people. And I know it's a lot of things that come up. And I think more than anything, it's cool to kind of walk into the season as the year's winding down. A lot of thoughts and feelings come up. So, being able to work through that, I think, is like cool. And that's what we're doing. All right. So if you like what you're listening to on the podcast, leave a rating, leave a review. It's much appreciated, and it helps the algorithm. If you want to become a Patreon supporter or Apple Podcast subscriber, Flight Club, you get bonus content, extended episodes, ad-free. And I want to do a live soon, y'all, with my subscribers. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of that. But want to do that, and I think I'm going to do that. And just try to figure out and coordinate it properly to have like a live, low chill sesh with my subscribers. But beyond that, you guys just take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take things personal, but don't take people personal. All right? Take flight.